The vast dark region of space called the Silent Belt had always made travelers uncomfortable. No one knew why it was so empty or why strange sounds were sometimes heard on long-range scanners. Most alien ships avoided it. But one small human vessel, Horizon 12, moved deeper into the darkness with a slow, steady path. The crew did not speak much. They could feel the silence around them like a heavy weight. The ship looked small from the outside, only a cargo and research vessel, nothing special. But every human ship, no matter how simple, carried a hidden strength. Still, the crew did not expect danger today. They were only passing through the region to save time on their journey. No enemy was expected here. Then the radio cracked with a sudden scream. A weak SOS signal burst from the speakers, filled with static and fear. A voice spoke in a broken whisper, as if the person was running or hiding from something. "Help, please, they are coming, do not trust the shadows, they are." The message cut off with a sharp noise, followed by a sound like metal breaking. Then silence returned, even heavier than before. The crew on Horizon 12 froze. Officer Lena felt her hands shake a little. The captain, Eric Hale, stared at the screen with narrowed eyes. He had heard many strange things in his life, but this voice felt different. It felt close. It felt real. "Replay the message," he ordered. The sound repeated, the same fear, the same final scream. No coordinates were attached to the signal. It had been scrambled, maybe on purpose. The captain leaned back in his chair. "This is not a normal distress call," he said quietly. What he did not know was that far in the darkness, hidden behind drifting rocks and shadow clouds, the Kravik Empire fleet watched Horizon 12 with cold, predatory eyes. The Kravik were a war-hungry species, tall creatures with bone plates on their skin and anger in their blood. They had studied humans for years, jealous and afraid of the strange human ability to survive everything. Today, they wanted to test humans. Today, they had set a perfect trap. Their flagship sat silent like a giant beast waiting to attack. Around it, smaller ships circled carefully, their weapons charged but hidden from scanners. The Kravik commander, Varnak, watched the human vessel on his screen and smiled slowly. "The humans do not know we are here," he said. "The bait worked. The false SOS pulled them in exactly where we want them." His officer bowed. "Orders, Commander?" Varnak lifted his hand. "Prepare the ambush." On the Horizon 12, the crew continued forward, but unease grew inside the ship. The lights seemed dimmer. The air felt colder. Even the engines sounded different, as if they were moving through something thick and heavy. Captain Eric finally spoke. "Scan for anything unusual." Officer Lena started the scan, but the screen glitched. "Something is wrong," she whispered. "The sensors are lagging. They cannot read the area." The ship's AI stuttered for the first time ever. "Warning, detection interference detected, unknown signals surrounding vessel." The captain stood up. "Surrounding." Before Lena could answer, the ship's lights flickered. Gravity shifted for a second, making everyone grab onto something. A low hum filled the air. Then, in the distance, a faint glow appeared, like shapes forming out of the darkness. The crew stared at the screens as several blurs came into focus. They were not rocks. They were ships. Many ships. The Kravik fleet uncloaked in absolute silence, deadly and sharp like black knives. Dozens of them. The Horizon 12 was surrounded on every side. For a moment, no one on the human ship said anything. It was the kind of fear that steals the voice. Then the first shot came. A beam of red energy hit the human shield, shaking the entire ship. Sparks flew at the control panel. Officer Joran fell from his chair. Lena shouted, "Multiple hits. They are firing again." The Kravik ships did not speak, did not warn, did not ask for surrender. They wanted a clean kill. They wanted humans gone from this part of space. Captain Eric took a deep breath. His voice was steady when he spoke, almost too calm for the situation. "Activate emergency channel. Code Iron Wall." Lena's eyes widened. Sir, that is a restricted defense protocol. Do it, he said. On the Krovik flagship, Commander Varnak watched with amusement. They are scared, he said. Human fear is the same as all others. Finish charging the main cannon. But then the human ship glowed. A soft, blue pulse spread from Horizon 12 like a quiet wave. It rolled across the Krovik fleet, invisible at first, then growing brighter. Their sensors started glitching. Their targeting systems shook. Varnak frowned. What is that? What are they doing? This is only a cargo ship. His officer screamed, Commander, our targeting is down. Our scanners cannot see the human vessel. More systems failed. Panic spread. Inside Horizon 12, the pulse faded. The captain whispered to himself, let's see if this still works. The ship's hidden core powered up, something old, something secret, something only humans used. The silent belt was no longer silent. It was waiting. And now, the real fight was about to begin. The Horizon 12 shivered slightly as the pulse of its hidden system faded, but the crew could feel the calm that came after a storm. For a moment, the Krovik fleet seemed frozen in space, their sensors failing, their weapons useless. Captain Eric Hale leaned over the console, watching the glowing dots of enemy ships on the screen. They think they have the advantage, he said quietly. But they don't understand us. Lena, still gripping her chair, looked up. Sir, they are everywhere. What if their main cannon comes back online? Eric shook his head. Not today. Not while we have this. He pointed at a small, unassuming device under the deck, the Aegis core. It was humanity's secret weapon, the reason why even the strongest fleets feared human ships. The Krovik did not know its full power yet, but they would learn soon enough. Suddenly, the Krovik flagship moved forward, bold and threatening. Its energy beams glinted dangerously in the darkness. They are advancing, Lena warned. They want to hit us before we can react. Eric's eyes narrowed. Then we will react first. He pressed a button, and from the ship's bay, 3 sleek drones slid out, humming softly. They were not ordinary drones. They were fast, almost invisible, with armor that could take a direct hit from Krovik weapons. The crew watched as the drones glowed faintly blue, merging with the shadows of the silent belt. They can't see them, Joran exclaimed. Their sensors are blind. The drones zipped toward the nearest Krovik ships, moving like predators. They struck silently, firing precise energy bolts. One by one, the enemy ships lit up and exploded in small, controlled bursts. The Krovik scrambled, sending panicked commands to their fleet. Commander Varnak slammed his clawed fist on the console. Impossible! How are they doing this? They are smaller, weaker ships. This cannot happen. His officers were shouting orders, trying to regroup, but the drones moved faster than anything their scanners could track. The human captain's calm voice came over the comms. You have been warned. Stand down, or face destruction. Varnak sneered, but there was fear in his eyes. Destroy them all. Leave nothing. The Krovik fired everything they had. Energy beams, missiles, even plasma rounds. But the Horizon 12 moved like a shadow in the dark, twisting, turning, dodging every attack. The crew worked as one, a synchronized machine. Lena adjusted shields, Joran handled navigation, Eric monitored the drones. Every human on board knew their role. One missile hit near the ship and shook it, but the pulse from the Aegis core absorbed most of the damage. Sparks flew in the control room, but no one panicked. The humans had trained for this, prepared for the impossible. The drones, meanwhile, were not just attacking. They were gathering information, scanning the Krovik ship's weak points. Within minutes, the humans could see where the enemy armor was thin and where their weapons could fail. Captain, Lena said, pointing to the screen. We can target their flagship. If we take it out, the rest will flee. Eric nodded. Do it. And make it fast. The drones shot forward, invisible in the darkness. They weaved around incoming fire, striking repeatedly at the Krovic flagship. Alarms rang inside the enemy ship. Fire erupted in corridors. Soldiers screamed. Chaos spread like wildfire. Varnak's face turned pale. This is not possible. Humans, they are too precise, too fast. The Horizon 12 drifted silently in the shadows, almost like it was mocking them. Eric leaned back, hands clasped. They think they control the fight. They don't even know what hit them. Inside the flagship, the drones reached the main reactor. With quick, expert maneuvers, they planted energy disruptors. The reactor began to destabilize. Alarms blared. Fire consumed the engine room. The Krovic crew tried to escape, but there was no way out. The human captain's voice echoed calmly across space. You chose war. We chose survival. Minutes later, a massive explosion lit the darkness. The flagship disintegrated into millions of burning fragments. The remaining Krovic ships tried to retreat, but their sensors were still disrupted. One by one, they vanished into the void, scared beyond reason. Inside Horizon 12, the crew allowed themselves a brief moment of relief. Lena wiped sweat from her brow. Joran shook his head, almost laughing in disbelief. We did it. They actually did it. Eric did not smile. His eyes were on the remaining scanners. This was only the beginning. The Krovic will remember this. And soon, someone even older and stronger will notice humans are not weak. A soft hum filled the control room as the Aegis core powered down. Silence returned, heavier than before. The crew knew they had survived something extraordinary, but the darkness of space still waited. Somewhere, out there, a new challenge was coming. Captain Eric stared ahead, calm, focused, ready for whatever came next. Humanity had survived the impossible again, and the silent belt was no longer just empty space. It was the place where humans had shown their true strength. But far beyond the light of Horizon 12, in the black emptiness, an unknown presence had noticed the humans. Its thoughts were cold, its patience endless, and it waited quietly for the moment to strike. The story of survival, of human power, was only just beginning. The Horizon 12 floated quietly in the silent belt, its crew still shaken but alive. Sparks from minor damage flickered along the walls of the control room, but the ship systems hummed steadily. The three drones had returned to their docking bays, moving silently as if proud of their work. Lena leaned over the console, checking every system. They're gone, she said softly. All of them. The Krovic fleet is retreating. Captain Eric Hale did not respond immediately. His eyes were fixed on the darkness beyond the viewport. Gone, he said finally. No. They are hiding. They are alive. And they will come back. Joran, still brushing off debris from his chair, frowned. Sir, what now? We destroyed their flagship, but there are still more out there. They might call reinforcements. Eric's lips curved into a faint smile, though his eyes remained serious. Let them come. They will learn that humans are not so easy to kill. And more importantly, they will learn the wrong lesson if they only judge by numbers or size. Lena raised an eyebrow. You mean, the Aegis core? He nodded. It's more than that. Humans survive when others think we can't. That is our strength. That is what they fear. Even as he spoke, the ship's sensors flickered. A soft hum, almost like a heartbeat, pulsed in the background. Lena leaned closer. Captain, the sensors. I'm picking up something moving fast, beyond the range of normal scanners. Eric's expression sharpened. Show me. On the main screen, a faint glow appeared. It moved in ways no alien ship could. It did not follow normal flight patterns. Lena zoomed in, her fingers flying over the console. It's huge. I can't tell the shape. It's like it's part of the shadows. The captain stood, his voice calm but firm. Stay alert. We don't know what it is yet, but humans have faced worse. Keep the shields ready and drones on standby. The crew obeyed, hearts pounding but minds steady. They had trained for situations like this, for the impossible. Still, something about the movement of that unknown object made the hairs on the back of their necks rise. Suddenly, the silence was broken by the ship's comm system. A distorted voice came through, not human, not Krovic, something older, colder. "Human vessel, we have been waiting for you." The words sent a chill through the control room. Lena's hands froze on the console. Joran swallowed hard. Who is that?" Eric did not answer immediately. He studied the faint glow again. "I don't know," he said finally. "But we're about to find out. And we will survive, as we always do." The object moved closer, faster than thought possible. Its size became clearer, a massive shape, larger than any human or Krovic ship they had seen. The surface shimmered like liquid metal, constantly shifting. There were no weapons visible, but its presence alone felt like power. The captain gave orders calmly, every word precise. "Prepare drones for reconnaissance. Keep shields at maximum. Power weapons to standby. And Lena, record everything. If we don't survive, the human race will know what we faced here." The drones lifted off, sliding silently into the shadows. They moved like ghosts, observing, scanning, sending data back to Horizon 12. But even they seemed cautious, slowing as they neared the enormous shape. The screen flickered with data. It's not just a ship," Lena whispered. "It's alive. Some kind of living construct. Energy flows inside it, intelligence, and power." Eric's gaze did not leave the object. "Then it is a challenge. And humans rise to challenges." The unknown being stopped at a distance from the Horizon 12, its presence filling the empty space around them. The crew could feel it through their instruments and through some instinctive sense in their bones. It was ancient, patient, and aware. For a moment, silence returned. Not the silence of space, but the silence of anticipation. Every human on Horizon 12 knew that this encounter could decide everything. It was no longer just a battle against Krovic. This was something far older, far stronger, and far more dangerous. Then the being shifted, and a wave of energy rippled toward the ship. The shields flared, holding steady but trembling under the pressure. The Horizon 12 rocked slightly, lights flickering, as if warning them of what was to come. Eric's voice was calm, almost soothing, despite the tension. "We are humans. We survive. We fight. We endure. Nothing else matters. Not fear, not size, not power. Only this moment, only our strength." The crew nodded, every heart beating faster. They were terrified, but also ready. They were humans. And humans never give up, no matter the odds. The object pulsed again, and this time, a low hum filled the silent belt, resonating through the hull of Horizon 12. It was a test, a challenge, a warning. And the humans would answer, as they always did. The drones reported back, "Object is analyzing us. Intelligence beyond Krovic levels. Unknown capabilities detected." Eric's eyes narrowed. "Let it watch. Let it learn. We will show it what humanity is. And if it wishes to fight, it will discover the cost." Outside, the shadows of the silent belt shifted. The unknown being floated silently, waiting, as humans prepared quietly for a confrontation that could shake the stars. Somewhere in the darkness, ancient eyes observed. They had waited for centuries. And now, a small human vessel had come into view. Unprepared, yes. Weak, no. Dangerous. Far more than anyone realized. And that danger was human. The Horizon 12 drifted silently as the ancient presence hovered nearby. Its immense shape shimmered like liquid metal, moving without sound. The crew could feel it, not with their eyes, but deep inside, a strange pressure pressing against their minds. Lena's hands hovered over the console, checking the readings again and again. Every system was functioning, but the numbers were strange, unlike anything recorded in human history. "Captain," Lena said quietly, "it's not attacking, not yet. But it's watching, studying, waiting." Eric Hale leaned back, eyes sharp, calm. "Then we will do the same. Humans survive by acting, not by waiting. Prepare the drones. I want eyes inside that thing." The 3 drones lifted off smoothly, slipping into the shadows. They moved like whispers, small and fast, invisible to the ancient entity. Each drone carried sensors and cameras, recording every detail. Lena watched the live feed, her voice a mix of awe and fear. "Captain, it's massive inside. The corridors, they move like a living thing. Energy flows like veins. It's like a city, but alive." Eric's jaw tightened. Humans face impossible things every day. Focus. Learn. We are not here to fight yet, only to survive and understand. The entity pulsed, and a low vibration filled the ship. The drones paused, unable to move further. A strange sense of presence pressed against their circuits, probing their systems. Joran gulped. "Sir, this is not just a ship. It's thinking. It knows we are here." Eric nodded. "Good. Let it know. Humans think too. And humans fight." He pressed a button, activating the Horizon 12's secondary defense protocol. Soft energy barriers expanded along the hull, shimmering blue. Nothing as strong as the Aegis core, but enough to protect against surprise attacks. Lena monitored the shields, feeling the hum of power flow through the ship. The entity pulsed again, this time brighter, almost like it was speaking in a language of energy. The air seemed to hum with anticipation. Its presence filled every corner of the silent belt. The humans could feel that even the smallest move mattered. "Captain," Lena whispered, "it's responding to our drones. It's learning, adapting." Eric's eyes narrowed. "Then we will adapt faster. That is the difference. Humans do not wait for others to define them. We define ourselves." Suddenly, the entity shifted, sending a wave of energy that tested the Horizon 12 shields. Sparks flew in the control room, alarms blared. Joran shouted, "Shields holding, but it's strong. Too strong." Eric's voice remained steady. "Steady. It is testing us, not attacking fully. Let it. We will show it patience and cunning." He turned to Lena. "Send the drones closer. Analyze, map, learn every weakness. Every detail counts." The drones slipped forward again, weaving through the corridors of the entity. Lena's eyes widened. "Captain, it's huge, like a labyrinth, and yet, it moves. The walls shift, corridors open and close. It's alive. Really alive." Eric's gaze was sharp. "Then we learn. We survive. That is what humans do. Observation is the first strike." Time passed slowly. The humans inside Horizon 12 and the ancient entity in the silent belt circled each other, testing, watching. Neither struck, but both measured the other. Every pulse, every flicker of energy, every drone movement counted. Then the entity pulsed stronger, sending a wave that made the entire ship shudder. Lena grabbed the console, holding on. "Captain, it's probing deeper now. It wants to understand us. But it's curious, not angry yet." Eric leaned back, voice calm and cold. "Curiosity is weakness. And weakness can be exploited. But carefully, carefully. We are not reckless humans. We are survivors." Joran frowned. "Sir, do you think it knows what humans are capable of?" Eric smiled faintly. "Not yet. But it will learn soon. And when it does, it will learn fear." The drones returned with streams of data, revealing more about the entity's interior. Energy flows like veins, corridors shifting as though alive, vast chambers bigger than the largest human ships, and strange nodes of glowing intelligence, perhaps its core systems. Eric studied the data. "This is bigger than any Krovic fleet. bigger than anything humans have faced before. But size does not matter. Humans do not rely on size. We rely on precision, ingenuity, and courage. That is our weapon. The entity pulsed again, almost acknowledging the human's words without sound. It rotated slowly, its vast body glowing faintly in the darkness, showing patterns that reminded the crew of ancient art, almost like a message waiting to be understood. Eric spoke, his voice calm, carrying authority. We are humans. We survive. We endure. We fight when necessary. And we do not flee. We will face you, whatever you are. And you will know the cost of underestimating us. The Horizon 12 glowed faintly with energy, the drones returned to standby, and the crew prepared for what was coming next. The ancient entity floated silently, massive and patient, but the humans were ready. They had survived impossible odds before. And they would survive this. The silent belt was no longer empty. It had become a battlefield of minds and wills. The humans had shown strength, courage, and cunning. But now, a new challenge waited, older, larger, and far more dangerous. The real test for humanity had just begun. The Horizon 12 floated in the silent belt, every crew member tense but ready. The ancient entity loomed ahead, massive and alive, its energy flowing like rivers of light. The ship's sensors flickered, struggling to read its movements. Lena's fingers flew over the console, monitoring the readings and keeping the drones ready. "Captain," she said quietly, "it's moving closer. I think it wants to test us, not just observe." Eric Hale stood, calm and composed, his eyes never leaving the dark form outside. "Then we will respond. Prepare drones for attack and keep shields at full. This is not a test. This is a battle of survival." The drones lifted off, silent and swift, weaving around the entity. They moved through gaps in its vast body, mapping corridors, energy flows, and structural weak points. Each pulse from the entity seemed to follow their movements, probing, analyzing, learning. "It knows we are here," Joran said, his voice tense. "Every move we make, it adapts. It's like it's alive. Because it is." Eric nodded slowly. "Then we adapt faster. Humans survive by learning faster than the danger. That is what makes us strong. That is what makes us dangerous." The entity reacted suddenly. A wave of energy rippled through space, shaking the Horizon 12 violently. The shields flared blue and orange under the strain, but they held. Sparks flew across the control room. Lena gritted her teeth. "Shields at maximum," Eric commanded. "Divert all remaining power to defense and propulsion. Keep drones active." The drones zipped forward, firing small precision pulses at points identified as weak spots. Energy beams struck the entity's surface, causing small reactions, flashes of light, shifts in its body, but nothing destructive. It was massive, far larger than any human ship, and entirely alive. Suddenly, one of the drones was pulled in by a sudden surge of energy. Lena shouted, "Drone 3! It's being pulled. Sir, it's trying to destroy them." Eric's jaw tightened. "Focus. That drone collected enough data. Let it go. We move to the next stage." The entity pulsed again, brighter and faster. The entire silent belt seemed to vibrate with its presence. Its energy flowed like a storm, scanning the Horizon 12, probing the ship's systems, trying to understand humans. But humans had a way of surviving the impossible. Eric pressed a button under the console. The Aegis core glowed brightly, sending waves of energy that scrambled the entity's sensors temporarily. The vast shape shivered, as if annoyed, unable to track the drones or the ship itself. "Now," Eric whispered, "we act." The drones darted back into the gaps of the entity's form, striking precisely at nodes that Lena had identified from previous scans. Energy bursts lit up the dark void. The entity roared silently, a vibration felt through the hull, shaking the ship but not breaking it. "Captain," Lena said, "the nodes we hit, they control some internal energy flow. If we hit enough, maybe we can destabilize it." Eric nodded. Exactly. Humans do not rely on brute force alone. We find weakness, strike with precision, and survive where others fail. Keep firing. The drones moved in perfect coordination, striking multiple nodes simultaneously. The entity pulsed violently, shifting its form. A shockwave passed through the silent belt, sending Horizon 12 rocking. But the humans held steady, gripping consoles, standing firm. The entity screamed in energy, waves of light exploding from its body. But the drones pressed on. Its massive form twisted, trying to crush them, block them, absorb them, but the humans were faster, smarter. Each strike hit a critical point. Joran couldn't help shouting, "It's working! We're doing it!" Eric remained calm, guiding the ship. "Do not celebrate yet. Stay focused. Humans survive by patience, precision, and courage. That is our weapon." Slowly, the entity's movements began to falter. Its once perfect coordination broke under the repeated strikes. Energy pulses became erratic, flowing in uncontrolled bursts. The silent belt shook with the strain of a being that was both alive and dying. "Captain," Lena said, awe in her voice, "we're destabilizing it. Its energy flows are failing. The drones are exposing more weak points." Eric's face hardened. "Then we finish this. Precision and speed. Show it the cost of underestimating humans." The drones moved in one last coordinated strike, hitting the final nodes. The entity flared violently, energy exploding in every direction. The Horizon 12 rocked hard, but its shields held. Light and power surged, then the massive form of the entity began to collapse, folding in on itself like liquid metal cooling. Silence fell over the silent belt. The energy dissipated slowly, leaving only the small, quiet human vessel. Horizon 12 floated amidst the remnants of a being older and stronger than any human had faced, and yet, humanity had survived. The crew exhaled as one. Lena whispered, We did it. We survived." Eric Hale did not speak immediately. He stared into the darkness where the entity had been, calm but alert. "Yes," he said finally. "We survived. But remember this, everyone, survival is not luck. It is skill, courage, and the unwillingness to surrender. Humans do not give up. We endure. That is why we are dangerous. That is why we survive." Even as the crew repaired minor damages and rebooted systems, far in the darkness, remnants of the entity shimmered faintly, like a warning. Humanity had survived, but the universe was vast, and even older, stronger threats waited. The Horizon 12 floated forward, crew alert, ready. Humans had survived the impossible once again, and they would continue to survive, no matter what the universe sent next. The Horizon 12 drifted through the silent belt, quiet but alert. The crew was tired, but their faces showed determination rather than fear. Sparks from minor damage still flickered along the walls, and Lena worked quickly to repair the ship systems. Every console hummed steadily now, a reminder that humans could survive even the impossible. Captain Eric Hale leaned back in his chair, watching the darkness ahead. The ancient entity that had threatened them was gone. Or at least, its physical form had collapsed. Yet the sense of awareness lingered, like something unseen observing them still. He knew this encounter would not be the last. "We survived," Joran said quietly, almost in disbelief. "I can't believe it. We actually survived." Eric nodded. "Yes, but survival is not luck. Humans endure because we are adaptable, resourceful, and fearless when it matters most. That is why we are dangerous." Lena looked at the remaining drone feeds. "Captain, the data we collected, it's incredible. We've mapped sections of the entity's internal structure, energy flows, and even some kind of intelligence nodes. This could help humanity understand beings far older than us." Eric's eyes narrowed. "Exactly. Knowledge is power. And humans survive because we learn faster than our enemies. That is our weapon." The crew worked in quiet efficiency. Repairs, recalibration, energy checks, all were done with precision and focus. Despite the exhaustion, there was no panic. Humans had faced worse than impossible odds before, and this encounter had proven their strength once again. Then the comms flickered. A faint signal appeared, distorted and weak, but clearly artificial. Lena adjusted the sensors. "Captain, I'm picking up another signal. Not from the entity, not Kravik either. Something new. Old. Powerful." Eric leaned forward, voice steady. "Put it through." A distorted voice echoed over the comms, deep and resonant, almost vibrating through the hull. "Human vessel, you survived, but the universe has been waiting for you. Do not think this is the end." The crew froze. The voice was calm, yet carried an authority that made every human shiver. This was no ordinary enemy. It was something far older, something that had seen civilizations rise and fall. Lena whispered, "Sir, what is it? What does it want?" Eric did not answer immediately. He stared at the stars ahead. "We don't know. But we will survive it, just as we have survived everything else. Humans never surrender. That is our strength." The ship sensors picked up more faint traces. Energy readings unlike anything recorded, patterns that shifted like living symbols, and a faint pulse that seemed to communicate or warn. Eric studied the readouts carefully. "This is bigger than any Kravik fleet," he said finally. "Bigger than the entity we just faced. But humans survive by thinking, planning, and acting with precision. That is why we endure when others fall." Lena adjusted the drones to standby mode. "Captain, should we send them forward again?" Eric shook his head slowly. "Not yet. We need to understand first. Attack without knowledge is reckless. Humans survive by knowing the enemy before striking. That is why we are dangerous." Joran looked uneasy. "Sir, this voice, whoever it is, it sounds like it's waiting for us. Like it knows humans are strong. Too strong." Eric's eyes narrowed. "Exactly. Let them watch. Let them learn. They will discover that humans are not just survivors. We are strategists, thinkers, and fighters. We adapt, we endure, and we prevail." The crew worked through the remainder of the silent belt, scanning for remnants of the ancient entity, ensuring there were no hidden threats. Every sensor, every reading, every drone data point was analyzed. Nothing escaped their attention. Hours later, the Horizon 12 reached a safe zone beyond the silent belt. The stars looked normal again, calm and distant. The crew finally allowed themselves a brief moment to rest. Lena leaned back, exhausted but smiling faintly. "Captain, I think we proved something today. Not just to the universe, but to ourselves." Eric nodded. "Yes, humanity survives. And that is the lesson the universe must learn. Size does not matter. Power does not matter. Courage, ingenuity, and the will to endure, that is what defines humans." But even as they celebrated quietly, Eric's eyes scanned the dark expanse beyond the viewport. Somewhere in that darkness, the faint pulse remained. A presence older and stronger than any they had faced lingered, observing, calculating. It was waiting, patiently. Humans had survived the impossible once again, but the universe was vast, and threats older, wiser, and far more powerful were still out there. Eric whispered, almost to himself, "Let them come. Humans endure, humans survive, and humans never surrender." The crew of Horizon 12 prepared for the next journey, their resolve stronger than ever. The silent belt had been conquered, the entity defeated, and the lessons of survival etched into their minds. Humanity had once again proven that even in the darkest corners of space, they were a force that could not be ignored. And far beyond, in the shadowed reaches of the galaxy, ancient eyes watched. They had waited centuries. Now, humans had announced themselves to the universe. And the real challenge was about to begin. The Horizon 12 moved steadily through calm space, its crew still alert despite the recent battles. The silent belt had tested them in ways no human had expected, and they had survived. Every system aboard the ship hummed steadily, a reminder of human ingenuity, resilience, and the quiet strength that carried them through impossible odds. Captain Eric Hale stood at the viewport, staring into the darkness. Even though the ancient entity had been destabilized, even though the Krovic fleet had fled in terror, he felt no relief. Something was out there, older, stronger, and patient. The faint pulse from the unknown presence lingered in the distance, subtle but undeniable. Lena joined him quietly, glancing at the stars. "Captain, the readings are still unusual. That voice, whatever it is, it's still there. Watching." Eric nodded slowly. "Yes. Humans survive by acting, even when the odds are impossible. But we also learn. This is bigger than anything we have faced. Far bigger. And we will survive it, just as we always have." Joran, leaning against a console, frowned. "Sir, it's like it knows us, knows everything we did, and what we can do next." "That's because it's ancient," Eric said calmly. "It has seen countless civilizations rise and fall. It expects fear. It expects surrender. But humans, we endure. We adapt. We fight. And we survive." The Horizon 12 drifted closer to the edge of the silent belt, sensors scanning for anomalies. Every reading seemed to pulse with life, with intelligence. It was as if the universe itself was aware of them, responding to their presence. Then the comms flickered, and the distorted, deep voice returned. "Human vessel, you have survived what no others could. You have proven cunning, endurance, and strength. But your journey is only beginning. We have been waiting for you." Lena swallowed hard. "Captain, that voice, it's like it's calling us." Eric's eyes narrowed, his jaw tight. "It's more than a call. It's a challenge. And humans never back down from a challenge. That is why we are dangerous. That is why the universe takes notice." Suddenly, the faint glow ahead shifted, becoming clearer. The presence was no longer distant. Its size, still massive, shimmered in the dark. Energy flowed across its surface, forming patterns that hinted at intelligence, planning, awareness. It was alive in a way no human or Krovic ship could ever be. The drones lifted off quietly, moving cautiously toward the object. Each pulse from the being seemed to follow their every move. It was aware, analyzing, predicting, testing. Eric's voice was calm, almost soothing, yet filled with authority. "Stay sharp. Observe. Learn. Humans survive because we understand before we strike. That is what sets us apart." Lena monitored the drone's data feed. "Captain, the corridors inside it, they're alive. Shifting. Adapting. It's responding to us in real time. Every movement, every strike we made before, it remembers." Eric nodded. "Good. Then let it remember. Let it learn the hard truth. Humans do not surrender. Humans endure. And humans fight back when faced with the impossible." Suddenly, the being pulsed a wave of energy. The Horizon 12 rocked, lights flickering. The crew braced themselves, hands gripping consoles, hearts pounding. The drones paused, nearly pulled into the surge, but then escaped, sending back critical data about the entity's energy flow. "Captain, it's huge," Joran whispered. "Bigger than anything we've seen, and it's watching us, learning us, planning." Eric's eyes were steady, calm. "Exactly. That is why humans endure. We survive not by fear, but by courage, skill, and ingenuity. That is our strength. And that is why the universe should fear underestimating us." The ship's sensors detected movement within the entity, corridors shifting, energy nodes glowing, intelligence probing. Lena's voice was tense but excited. "Captain, it's preparing. Whatever this is, it knows humans are dangerous now." Eric looked around at his crew, calm but commanding. "Then we are ready. Always ready. Humanity survives the impossible, and this, This is only another test. We will endure. We will prevail. And when it chooses to act, it will know the cost of challenging us. Far in the darkness, the pulse of the entity slowed, almost contemplative. It was waiting, calculating, patient. It had survived for eons, seen empires rise and fall, yet here was something new. Something unpredictable. Something dangerous. Humans. The horizon, 12 powered forward, crew prepared, drones on standby, shields at maximum. Humanity had survived impossible odds before, and they would do so again. And in the endless black, the unknown presence pulsed again, sending a whisper across the void. Human vessel, we have been waiting, and now, the real game begins. The silent belt was no longer empty. It had become a stage where humans had proven their strength, cunning, and endurance. The universe had taken notice. Captain Eric Hale whispered to himself, eyes on the stars. Let them come. Humans survive. Humans endure. And humans never surrender. The screen faded to black, leaving the crew, and the audience, with a single undeniable truth. Humanity had survived, but the universe was watching, waiting, and the true challenge had only just begun.